This video goes over comparing graphs and equation. In this example, Glenview wants to bring in an artist to do a virtual concert. You've been asked to compare the cost of hiring Beyonce against the cost of hiring Lady Gaga. So Beyonce charges a base fee of $100 plus $40 per song. So let's make a table of values to represent that relationship. So for 0 songs, Beyonce is still going to charge $100. After that $100, she's going to charge $40 a song. So $140 for 1, $180 for 2, $220 for 3, $260 for 4, $300 for 5, $340 for 6, $380 for 7, and then $420 for 8 songs. Let's do the same thing for Lady Gaga. She charges no base fee, but charges $60 a song. So doing the same thing. 0 songs is $0, but 1 song is $60, 2 is $120, 3 is $180, 4 is $240, 5 is $300, 6 is $360 because her charge is $60 per song, 7 is $420, and then 8 is $480. So the next thing that we're going to do for both is use a difference table to determine whether this relation is linear or non-linear. So I'm going to start on my left-hand side, and I'm going to do a couple, and then I'm going to notice that my difference here, we'll call it delta n, is equal to 1. It's constant. On my right-hand side, I have a difference here. Let's say delta c is equal to 40. So this relationship is going to be linear because the difference is constant. Now, same thing on the other side. So my left-hand side, that delta n is equal to 1. On my right-hand side, it is still constant, but my difference here is equal to 60. So this relationship is linear too for the same reason. So now we're going to identify some things about both relationships. The first one is the rate of change. So this would be your cost per song. In the Beyonce example here on the left, my cost per song is $40 per song, and the units are important. For Lady Gaga, my rate of change is $60 per song. The base fee for Beyonce is $100. The base fee for Lady Gaga is 0. The independent variable and dependent variable is the same in both cases. My independent variable is going to be the number of songs, and my dependent variable is going to be the cost, because the cost of the concert depends on the number of songs that are played. So now that we have all that information, we're going to graph each relationship on the grid below. So on my x-axis, I'm going to put my independent variable. This is my number of songs. And on my y-axis, I'm going to put my dependent variable. So this is cost in dollars. So on my x-axis, I'm going to go up. I'm going to skip every other line so that we can see it a little bit better. 7, 8, but I'm just going up by 1 here. That's my number of songs. Okay. And then on this left-hand side here, let's see, if I go up by 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 83. Oh, perfect. I can fit those on. So I'm going to go up by 20s. Okay, and I am just going to write my numbers sort of every other line here. So I've got 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, 220, 40, 80, 120, 160. This should be 240. Fix that. 240, 280, 300. I'm just making sure I go up enough to have enough space for my information on my table of values, or most of it. And then I've got 380, and then 420, and then I'll do 460, and then I'll stop there because my table of values does not go that much higher, well, except for one. So I'll go up to 500 there. Okay, so now what I want to do is plot my points. I'm going to use two different colors. So for Beyonce, I'm going to use blue. Okay. And let's plot those here. So I know for $0, for 0 songs, I am going to pay $100. Okay. For 1 song, I was going to go up by 40, so that I'm going to pay $140. For 2 songs, I'm going to pay $180. 3 songs would be $220. 4 songs would be $260. 5 songs would be $300. There we go. And I'm just noticing I should fix my graph here. Sorry about that. Okay, so this would be 320 here. I've got my point plotted in the right spot, but my numbers aren't right on the left-hand side. 360, 400. There we go. 440, 480, and then 520. Okay, back to plotting Beyonce's table of values here. All right, we're at 5 songs for 300. 6 songs would be 340. 7 songs was 380. 8 songs would be, let's see, be here, which is 420. And that's as far as we got. Okay, so that's our Beyonce. We're going to connect those dots together. Just like this. Okay. And then let's do Lady Gaga in green. Try and do a darker green so it stays up a little bit better. But Lady Gaga will be green. Okay. So for Lady Gaga, she was 0 songs and $0. 1 song was $60. 2 songs was $120. 3 songs was $180. 4 songs was all the way up here, so adding another $40 would be up here at $220. And then 5 songs was $300. 6 songs would be $340. 7 songs was $380. And then 8 songs would be here at $420. So we're going to connect those dots as well so that we've got 2 lines that we can analyze. Okay, and let's make sure I've got those points in the right spot. Okay, at 7 songs, we should have 400. And then at 7 songs, we should have 400. 8 songs, we were all the way up here at 460. Okay, 480, excuse me. Okay, so now we've got those two graphs. They obviously cross at this point right here. So that's probably going to be important. And before we analyze the graph, we're going to write an equation for the relation. So let's define our variables. We have used them already before. I'm going to say let n represent the number of songs played. And I'm going to write across because I'm going to do it for both. And then I'm going to let C represent the total cost of the concert. So on the left-hand side is Beyonce. And so my total cost there is $100 plus $40 per song. Lady Gaga's equation looks almost the same, except my base fee is 0. So I've got $0 plus $60 a song, which we can just write like this. C equals 60M. Now what we can do is use our equation to actually find the cost of a 20-song concert. So for Beyonce, I'm going to put in 20 for N, and then I'm going to evaluate. So 40 times 20 would be 800, plus 100 would be $900. And for Lady Gaga, I would have 60 times 20, which would give me $1,200 for the same concert. So now if I go back to my graph, I'm going to ask for how many songs would it be less expensive to call Beyonce. So I'm going to go back up to my graph, and I'm going to notice that my blue Beyonce line is lower, or my total cost is lower after 5 songs. On the left-hand side, or before 5 songs, the Lady Gaga line is lower than the Beyonce line, so that means my cost is lower here. So that means for greater than 5 songs, okay, but for Lady Gaga, it would be less than 5 songs. Okay, that point of intersection is important, determines when each relationship becomes more expensive. The last thing that we're going to do is talk about our graphs. So which relationship has a greater rate of change? If you remember, Lady Gaga had a greater rate of change. It was $60 per song. And this is demonstrated on the graph by a steeper line. A partial variation is one that doesn't start at 0. So this would be Beyonce's graph. A direct variation is one that does start at 0. This would be Lady Gaga's graph. And we can predict the type of variation from the equation by looking at the base fee. So if the equation has a base fee, it must be a partial variation because that's going to push it up the axis. So that's a real-world example of turning our relation into an equation and a graph and performing